Good day, everyone. You're welcome to Melchizedek Global Music Ventures, also known as Meglo Music Ventures. Today, we are going to continue on our musical literacy journey to professionalism. We'll continue on our major scale from the previous session. So today, we are going into G major scale. So this is the representation of G major scale on the staff and on the keyboard. On the staff and on the keyboard. Also notice that this F sharp, the last line on treble staff is F, so we place this sharp on it to represent F sharp, and also is the fourth line on bass staff, and we place this sharp on it to represent F sharp. Fourth line is F, and we place sharp on it to represent F sharp. So let's go into the explanation further. From our major scale pattern of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, what we need between G and A is a tone. And from G to G sharp, we have a semitone. From G sharp to A, we have a semitone. Semitone plus semitone equals to a tone. So we have a tone from G to A, which corresponds to our major scale pattern of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Then from A now, from A to B, we also need a tone from our major scale pattern to conform to our major scale pattern. So A to A sharp is semitone. A sharp to B is semitone. So semitone plus semitone equals to a tone. So from A to B, A to A sharp is semitone. A sharp to B is semitone. So from A to B, we have a tone, meaning semitone of A to A sharp plus semitone of A sharp to B equals to a tone. That gives us the second tone that we want. And then the next one, according to our major scale pattern, is a semitone. And between B and C, we have a semitone. A semitone between B and C. So from C to D now, we need a tone to conform to our major scale pattern. So from C to C sharp is a semitone. From C sharp to D is a semitone. So from C to D, we have a tone that is semitone of C to C sharp plus the semitone of C sharp to D equals to a tone. So we have from C to D a tone. Now we are on D, and from our major scale pattern, we also need a tone between D and E. So D to D sharp is a semitone. D sharp to E is a semitone. So the semitone of D to D sharp plus the semitone of D sharp to E equals to a tone. So from D to E, we have a tone which conforms to our major scale pattern. And next we need another tone, which will be the third tone that is in our major scale pattern. From E to F, now we need a tone. From E to F, we have a semitone. However, according to major scale pattern, we must have a tone between E and F. And in order to achieve this, we have to raise F by a semitone, which makes it F sharp. Therefore, we have from E to E sharp, we have a tone. That is from E to F sharp, we have a tone. That is from E to F, a semitone. Then from F to F sharp, a semitone. Therefore, from E to F sharp, we have a tone. Therefore, on our G major scale, our F is sharpened. So it's not this F natural that we are using. We are using this F sharp, this black key on our G major scale, and that's why we put sharp on our representation of G major on the staff and on the keyboard at the beginning. So now from E to F sharp, we have a tone, and then we need the last semitone. From F sharp to G, we have a semitone which follows the major scale pattern, as we already have two tones, one semitone, three tones preceding this semitone, and therefore we have the final semitone. The key we just worked on is G major scale because we started on the key of G and we followed the pattern of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone to reach the next G octave above, and that is why we call it G major scale. So that is that. Can answer these questions and reach out to us on WhatsApp or in the comment section. We'll be glad to answer you. Then we go to A major scale. This is the representation of A major scale on the staff and on the keyboard. You notice that the sharps are also identified. So let's go into the explanation. Our major scale pattern is tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So that's what we need to form our A major scale. We are starting on A now. So from A to B, we need a tone according to our major scale pattern. A to A sharp is a semitone. A sharp to B is a semitone. So from A to B, we have a tone, semitone plus semitone, equals a tone. From B to C, we have a semitone, that is S, semitone. No black key between the notes. However, this also does not conform to the major scale pattern. We must have a tone between B and C, and in order to achieve this, we have to raise C by a semitone, which makes it C sharp. Therefore, we have from B to C sharp, we have a tone, that is from B to C, a semitone, and from C to C sharp, a semitone. Therefore, we have from B to C sharp a tone, semitone of B to C, and plus semitone of C to C sharp. That's a tone. So our sharp in A major scale is sharpened. So our C on A major scale is sharpened. Then we go from C sharp to D. Remember, we're on C sharp now, and what we need now is a semitone. So, and from C sharp to D, we have a semitone which conforms to the general major scale pattern of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So we are on D now. We've landed the semitone that we need has landed us on D. So we are on D now. Now, from D to E, from D to E, we have a tone, that is D to D sharp is semitone, and D sharp to E is semitone. So from D to E, we have a tone, semitone of D to D sharp plus the semitone of D sharp to E. That's a tone, which conforms to our major scale pattern of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Then from E to F, let's go to, we are on E now. So from E to F, we have a semitone. However, according to major scale pattern, we must have a semitone, we must have a tone between E and F, and in order to achieve this, we have to raise F by a semitone, which makes it F sharp. Therefore, we have F sharp instead of F. Yes. So from E to F sharp, we have a tone. That is, from E to F, we have a semitone. From F to F sharp, we have a semitone. So from E to F, from E to F, we have a tone, semitone of E to F. From E to F sharp, we have a tone, not E to F. It's a semitone between E to F. From E to F sharp, we have a tone. That is semitone of E to F sharp. From E to F plus the semitone of F to F sharp, a tone. So from E to F sharp, we have a tone, semitone of E to F plus the semitone of F to F sharp. That's a tone, which corresponds to our major scale pattern of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Also from F sharp to G, we have a semitone. However, according to major scale pattern, we must have a tone between F sharp and G. And in order to achieve this, we have to raise G by a semitone, which makes it G sharp. Therefore, we have from F sharp to G sharp, we have a tone. That is, from F sharp to G, we have a semitone. And from G to G sharp, we have a semitone. Therefore, from F sharp to G sharp, we have a tone, semitone of F sharp to G, plus the semitone of G sharp to G sharp, plus the semitone of G to G sharp. That's a tone, which corresponds to our major scale pattern. which corresponds to our major scale pattern. So this should be a semitone. Okay. This should be a semitone. And this should be a tone. So from F sharp to G sharp, we have a tone. So from G sharp to A, we have a semitone. G sharp to A is semitone, which conforms to the general major scale pattern. Which corresponds to the general major scale pattern. Yes, and so this is where we're going to be calling it a day today. So we have from A to A, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Remember, we've altered some notes with sharps to correspond to our major scale pattern. And so this is why we have 3 sharps on A major scale. So on C, on F, and on G. So see you in the next session. Thank you for staying with us. Bye for now.